What is what is 1,012? What is that? And welcome back.
Welcome back. 1,012 followers as of this morning. That's pretty cool.
Wow. Welcome back to the show, big man. How are you?
Hey, good to see you. What kind of break did we take?
I don't know, a couple of months. Feels good to be back in the saddle. And you know how this stuff goes. We had a really good run and just continue to grow. And I think it's sometimes good to step away a little bit and refocus. And we're back. I mean, I'm wearing my hat. I got my shirt. I got my match. My socks are on. It's all good. Look at you. Welcome back to the big show. So you want to shout out Woodstock Inn and Brewery?
Yeah, I mean, we're still their agency, so we can still put that up there. So if you're in New England and you want some great craft beers, they're a great place to go.
Nice. Yeah. Well, as always, we kick this off with shots on goal.
Go ahead. You go first.
I will throw out this. This has been a long time coming. Longest summer of baseball ever.
It is. Hey, and that's one of my shots on goals too. I would like to congratulate the Boston Red Sox on being in first place, tied 3 ways today. But I'd say that we should be in first because we're 6-4 over the last 10, and the Yankees are 5-5. So
no, actually, on the ESPN app, Red Sox first place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I looked at it today. Cool. But my longest summer of baseball is a reference to last year when you're like longest summer of baseball ever. They're going to be awful. And what did they do? They were 2 games away from going to the World Series. So is that what you're doing? Is you're pointing out how wrong I am? Or? Yes.
Okay.
Well, in a nice way. In a very nice way. Another kind of quick shot on goal that I wanted to talk about was Kyrie Irving, flipping off the fans and all that stuff. And, they play again tonight, game 2. And, Kyrie had a great game 1, but they lost. So you can talk all the smack you want. But if you don't win, I just don't care. Right. You got to win if you're going to talk trash. But I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of patience for these pro athletes that want to be jerks to fans. We're like, you got Baker Mayfield right now saying, like, well, let me go yell at you in your cubicle at work. And it's like, dude, that ain't the same. Give me your game check, and then you can yell at me at work.
Yeah, Baker, on Baker's front, he just wants to be traded. He wants out. I mean, what's he going to do? He's a first-round draft pick. He's sitting on the bench behind Watson. If Watson plays, I mean, is he suspended for the season yet?
No, I think he's good to go.
Yeah. So, Baker will end up someplace like, I don't know, Indianapolis. Who knows? Carolina, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyrie and the middle fingers that cost him $50,000.
It's nothing.
Unbelievable. Nothing. Well, you got any more? Or is that?
No, I got one more, but go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go.
Well, one of the craziest parts about college sports to me the last couple of years has been the transfer portal. Right. Yep. And it's noticeable right now. All these basketball players, season's over. They're all in the portal. In 2020, you had 609 players in the portal. There are 1,300 Division I college basketball players in the portal right now. I mean, that's absurd. Where can they all go? Are some of these guys going to get left out where they don't even have a scholarship and they have nowhere to go? And it's kind of like Deebo Samuel right now. And I realize it's not the transfer portal, but here you've got a stud for the 49ers who after 3 seasons is demanding to be traded. And it's like, I miss the days of when like a guy would just stay with one team and just be content. But we live in such a weird world where we're just not content with anything. And I think it's just one of the biggest misses in just the world right now. Be happy, man. Just be happy.
Well, I think that, if someone in your position is making $1 more than you, then you're being disrespected.
I don't get it.
Our boy Tommy Brady, he was underpaid for at least 10 of the 20 years that he was in New England for sure.
Right. That's all. What do you got?
Well, for my shout out is to Mike Tyson. So Mike Tyson has been told by the state of Colorado, and this is for today's 420, that he cannot sell gummies that edibles that are shaped in the form of a bitten off ear. You can't make this stuff up. The state of Colorado won't allow you to have an edible in the form of a human, a animal, or a fruit.
Just today.
Yeah. No. This is my shout out for today. It's 420. Because it entices the children. So.
Well, there's probably some truth to that.
Yeah, and you stole my Kyrie Irving one, which was awesome, and my first place Red Sox. So I guess all I got left is a shout out to our next two guests, which will be next week. Will be Caroline Matthias. She is the Alec Baldwin of the penalty box. This will be her third visit, and then the week after that we've got a gentleman that I know very well. A co-founder and chief revenue officer of a company called Hypersphere, which I'm a little involved in. So I want you to, he's in the crypto space and the data protection space. So I wanted to shout out to those two. So that's all I really got.
Well, cool. Well, let's get our host on here, Wesley, Vivian, Wyatt, for just a minute. If Wes wants to jump on, he's gone full Black Bart on us. He's probably not even listening now.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's working on Randy's
whatever. There he is. You want to give a shout out to your what you do and how people can get a hold of you and hire you for your services?
Absolutely. All you guys got to do is go to weswyatt.live, and if you're interested in doing what we're doing now, or just learning how to do the ins and outs of video and social media and podcasting, just give me a buzz. That's awesome. It.
Get out of here, you knucklehead. Well, Tim, you want to introduce our guest today?
Well, yeah. So Joe, and we'll have him pronounce his last name. Repice. I'm not really sure. I want to make sure he's Italian. I want to make sure I get it right. Joe, and I followed Joe for during the pandemic a lot, and I know his sauces, hot sauces, are only a couple. Hey, Randy, how are you? Only a couple years old, but I became an instant fan. Right away, I got all four of them, and I have my favorite, which we'll talk about when Joe comes on. But it was so funny. I was watching Netflix, and I happened to watch this show called The Bad Vegan, and then right there, on the screen right in front of me was Joe, and I'm blown away. Not only is the guy just an awesome guy when it comes to his food and his mission. But I really wanted to talk to him a little bit about how he got from that situation in New York City all the way out to Oregon. So I'd love to bring him right on, and he can fill in the blanks for us.
All right, I was calling Joey Hot Sauce, but or Joey Hot honey. So what do we call you, Joey? What's your last name? How do you pronounce it?
Repice is how you would actually pronounce it. Yeah, it's been mispronounced my entire life. So you're not alone. You're just joining the masses. You're just really joining the masses.
Well, I was telling Tim before you got on, I started to watch that show, The Bad Vegan, and I think I'm only like maybe an hour in, and then he's like, yeah, Joey was. I'm like, wait, what? Like I didn't put all that together until he 15 minutes ago. So that is cool. I need to watch the end of it. I've just gotten through it. So yeah,
it's quite a story, man. It's quite a time in my life. It was pretty crazy, going through it. It was kind of traumatizing when it was happening, to think about being in an establishment for 10 years. I had a 10-year run there, and everything, we built up so much momentum. We just had such notoriety, just part of the team that was just really making that place successful. And then all of a sudden the carpet got pulled out from underneath all of us, and her life was derailed as a result of making some pretty poor relationship choices.
Right. Well, I want to talk to you about your business, but since we're talking about this, we might just dive in and get this out of the way. How do you not know that you need to run the opposite direction when the guy tells you his name is this, and then it turns out to be that, and then you end up marrying the guy after all?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions. I was recently introduced to a woman, Laura. She has a podcast. She's like a crime analyst, and I was still kind of beside myself. Even watching the documentary, I was looking at it. I'm like, wow, this doesn't really, it actually created more questions than answers for me personally. And, but actually connecting with Laura and her understanding of just the type of crime that Sarma was involved with, and the type of framing around a sociopath like Anthony, AKA Shane, and how it just slowly just was ramped up and slowly just moved. It's not one day he said, give me $100,000 when he first built the trust. And I think a lot of the documentary didn't really go into the coercive control, which from my understanding, like limited understanding, I'm not like a crime analyst by any means, but like the coercive control that's involved in this, and the subtlety. Like Sarma was smart, and a lot of people say, "Oh, she was in on it." Well, and I always like revert to like, in on what? Destroying her life,
Right.
What incentive does she have? Like, she basically, everything she ever built, worked so hard for to get to where it was. It's not like we came out of the gate and the place was like a huge success. By no means. We were in the red, and Jeffrey kept that place going, and Sarma kept going. We all just collectively believed in it, and we kept pushing the envelope. The chefs coming in there just kept making the place better, and more and more awareness to what we were doing, and more awareness to like the food and the execution of the food. You didn't have to be a vegetarian or a vegan to enjoy that place. That was what we were doing. And stylistically, it was like sexier, it was funner, and we kept evolving. And then, more and more success started to happen to that place. So it took years. It took me personally like 5 years to get to actually, making a really decent living. I was invested. I was sold. I was really into that restaurant. I was into the concept. I was into vegetarian at the time, which I'm not currently, but it's crazy to see all that happen, and then to end up where it did, and to watch her just like destroy her entire life was really painful.
Wow.
Well, I've got 2 questions. Do you see Leon anymore?
Well, I'm on this coast. Only on Instagram I see Leon. He's a gas. I love that dog. He's super cute. Hey, Barry.
And then the second question, it was, I think she could make some money if she would put her merch up. I'd buy a One Lucky Duck sweatshirt. I mean, I went and looked one. I saw you had one on in one of your posts, and I'm like, after watching the show, I wanted one of those shirts. In fact, speaking of shirts, you don't have shirts on your site right now.
Yeah, those are just about to go live. I think by the end of this week, we'll have them back up.
Sweet.
So,
I was going to order one.
We had shirts, and then we ran out, and now we're just about to restock. So
so I went looking for a One Lucky Duck shirt, and I could not find it. But I if she needs some scratch, I think she could put up a store real quick and mix.
I don't even know how she can, she's in so much debt, and I don't even know if anything becomes successful. I don't know how that works. What happens, who goes after her. I do know that she's in the midst of almost getting her book ready, and really trying to explain her story. And I assume there could be a movie potential. There seems to be a pattern going on with all a lot of Netflix documentaries turning into.
Well, she's saying that it's not a documentary. That's what I heard. Right.
Yeah. She recently, after it got revealed and how it was presented to the public, she really feels that it was a misrepresentation. I think she misrepresented herself on many levels, because I honestly felt like she wasn't really fully connected to the ramifications of her choices, and how this man basically hijacked. She just seems like, when she's answering some of the questions, she seems confused, and rightfully so. She was victimized, and it takes a long time to process. It takes a lot of healing to get to the other side of that, to really fully comprehend, what had happened to her life. And I think she was just right out of prison, and telling her story. And it wasn't, a lot of people were on her corner, but a lot of people I've seen online, really go after her, especially some comedians that I know personally.
Sure. Well, don't let Will Smith get next to her. He'll have
I want to take this conversation a totally different direction.
Okay,
let's hear it.
What do you apply today that you learned from the band Butter Thief?
Oh, wow. Butter Thief. That's pretty wild. That's a little blast from the past. I was heavily into Sanskrit. I kind of dove into a lot of meditation. There was a chapter in my life I went to India, And I was at an ashram, and I had a couple of close knit friends in New York where we would meditate. We do this Surdation Kriya. We were like doing these breathing techniques, and I was full on. I'm a kind of a full on kind of guy, as you could tell. I was like full on into like working at Pure Food and Wine, and full on into my hot sauce business. So I dove into the whole meditation realm, and I've been a musician my whole life. I played at like CBs, and nothing really big. No band really hit the mainstream, but I still, I was kind of famous in my own town, and so we would play a lot of shows. So it was a great opportunity when Butter Thief, started to really incorporate somewhat Sanskrit dance parties. We would start to do these like college gigs, and that was pretty cool. I think we even played the sideshow at Bonnaroo one year. We were like in the world music stage, and that was a lot of fun. I was like, wow, I'm at Bonnaroo, and who knows? I never thought I'd have the avenue of like Sanskrit dance music to actually play at Bonnaroo, but nevertheless, I got there. What do I incorporate it in my life? I still meditate. I'm still a heavy meditator. I meditate twice a day. Exercise is a big part of my life. Drumming, I'm always going to be a drummer. I play more hand percussion stuff now than I actually do on the kit. I almost felt like I aggressively was so invested and so identified with me becoming rock and roll star that it didn't happen. And I felt like I just closed that chapter in my life as far as going after being a rock star. And I play more for me now, which is still really gratifying. But it's not really part of my life as much as it was. It was like the center focus of my life. And it kind of transferred even into the Butter Thief stuff, but I'm really not performing, but I'm still just a all in kind of guy,
I read one take on Butter Thief was that it was like a eclectic kind of weird pop sound, but it said that it had a positive message. Was there a lot positive message in lyrics? Is that what was that?
In Sanskrit, chanting, they say, there's a lot of resonance with, connecting with the divine. So when you're singing into this, it's all a call and response. So, the band would sing out a Sanskrit chant, and then the crowd would sing it back, so it would be this call and response. And essentially what we're all doing is just calling out to the divine, trying to connect to something deeper within us. So it had a total spirit. Its aim was to just, try to have people connect positively as opposed to in a drug scene. Because I think a lot of times, in the 90s were really drug orientated for me. But, a lot of times you experience these things with hallucinogenics or drugs that, that are connecting to something that's mystical in our lives. But there's a lot of consequences, I feel, when you take shortcuts, drugs, i.e. drugs. But if you're doing it with Sanskrit chanting, or there's other ways that are a little bit more harder to achieve, but they're way more gratifying. There's really no consequences when you go the other route.
Love it.
How did you end up from New York City? You stopped in LA for a little while, right? And now you're in Oregon. Tell us how you got there.
Yeah, I mean, it was really the demise of Pure Food and Wine, right when it was the day that, essentially Sarma, we had our paychecks not happen for quite a while for some people that watched the documentary. And then we basically got re-upped. Everyone was settled. And then we all, we had this meeting, and Shane came in and said that he's taking over, he's partners. And someone recorded that meeting, which is really amazing because I didn't even know that was recorded. But nevertheless, when we had complications that occurred one more time, I reached out to Sarma. I was like, hey man, either you get over here or you're going to lose everything. And she sent this mass email, don't worry. It was a bank transfer kind of, nobody was buying one bit of it. We didn't even know if that came from her. It was a walkout. So when we walked out, I was out, a job that I'd been working for a really long time. And I was just like putting somewhat closure, I think, on Facebook. And a friend of mine like approached me, and she was like, "Hey, I got a friend in LA that, you know, he might be looking for someone that be able to like come in and take this position." And that was that's what started me. I was like, it was first a consultant job that I landed in LA, and my fiance at the time, which is now my wife, you know, she stayed in New York, and I went, and they put me up in a spot over there. And I was I was like immersed in, it was a very similar concept, but I had never done any kind of work like that before. Like, you know, operational kind of manager. I was, you know, just diving into something, and just I had plenty of like work history throughout and I've been in the restaurant industry for many, many years, but, you know, doing consultant work is a completely different animal. And not to mention, I just came off of like this tremendous shock. You know, it was like right after the holidays. So like job searches in New York were really, you know, it's the worst time to look for work, right after the holidays in Manhattan. And I was just like, you know, looking, and this opportunity came up, and I jumped into it. You know, again, both feet in, and I was working in LA. That's what landed me in LA. And then I got the bug of LA. I'm like, wow, this is winter. You're like, right. I'm like, I was downtown. I was like swimming in a pool. They put me up in a place that I was like, you know, in this complex, and there was like a swimming. I was like swimming in the middle of winter. I'm like, this is crazy. And I was immersed in trying to like move the needle on that place. And it was like a stressful time for me at the time too. But I was just trying to show up, but it planted the seed of like, maybe I was even thinking about opening up my own like vegan Italian place. Like that was conceptually, I was looking at a very regional, like, you know, dishes from all different parts of Italy. And I was putting together a chef. We were going to do a presentation. And unfortunately, the chef that I was going to partner with, she kind of got cold feet right before we did the presentation. We was going to be up in the Hollywood Hills. We had someone that was going to host it in their house, and we were going to do like this, like, you know, demonstration of what the restaurant was going to be like. But that didn't come into fruition. My ideas of grandeur fell apart, and I was actually working for Matthew, who was, you know, in the documentary. So I worked for Matthew for a short period of time, and that didn't work out. And then I worked at Scopa Italian Roots. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the West Coast. It's in Venice. It's Chef Antonia LaFalso. She's, you know, been on like, you know, chef, like, I'm drawing the blank to what she's like top chef, and she's been on that program and very successful. In fact, that place, I never seen more money. Like, you know, that place like printed money. It was like the most insane high volume, like really, really like, you know, intense environment. But yeah, I learned a lot from there. And it also connected me back to my Italian roots, because it was called Scopa Italian Roots. And a lot of the dishes were like, made me realize how incredible my mom was. You know, she's just like this Southern Italian wizard in the kitchen, you know, where she would just like crank out like chicken parmesans, and like, you know, like, you know, and her execution of everything, you know, just what she would do to dishes, like all the labor intensity and everything from scratch. You know, I took that stuff for granted, you know, just growing up in it. You know, I had a friend, his name was Monday. I still have a friend, his name is Monday. And Monday used to come over. We used to, you know, practice.
Wait, was that his real name, Monday?
I think it was pronounced Mundi, but yeah, everyone called him Monday.
I'm going with Monday. I usually call Tim Tuesday, so, you know, I'm going with Monday.
Tim Tuesday. So yeah, Monday was great. He used to come over. We used to practice, and he said to me, like, I would always be like, nah, Ma, I don't want to eat, and he'd be like, Joey, please don't say that. Mom's food is the best food I ever had in my life.
You know who never says that? Wes Wyatt, by the way.
So Lisa's your muse, right? So we've all heard about how she wanted a hot sauce, and you went and farmers market and found them. But tell us a little bit about what makes your. I mean, come on now. I got them. I got them all right here. I have my favorite. It is Lisa the truffle.
Lisa the truffle queen.
It's awesome. My fave. It's really, really good. So give us a little bit, and I'm sure you've told this story so many times. Give us a little bit how you got here. And I think that, if I'm not wrong, you just celebrated your 100th batch. I'm not sure if that's correct.
It's true. Absolutely. Recently. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, Lisa was just nonchalantly telling me she's picking up hot sauce in the supermarket. Like, why do they got to put fillers and binders and sugar and everything? And I was like, I'm going to make Lisa hot sauce. I didn't even tell her. I just like said it to myself. I'm going to make her a hot sauce. Yeah. Unlike a lot of relationships that I know, and I've been through a lot of really unhealthy relationships, I have this amazing connection with my wife. I love her so much, so I was really just inspired. She wasn't like nagging me, Joey, why don't you make me a hot sauce?
I'm pulling that clip from this, and that's going to be our next promo.
Joey, make me a hot sauce. I could see Monday saying that, but definitely not your wife.
So I was just inspired, I went to the farmer's market in Mar Vista at the time, and I was just like shopping, and I see these like peppers, and I'm like, I'm going to just put it in my basket. And I went home, and I'm like, old school Italian, I'm roasting it in the oven, and also stuff that, from Pure Food and Wine, using like apple cider vinegar and Himalayan salt. I'm like, I'm going to incorporate this. And so everything I'd learned up until that moment just kind of came together, like creating Lisa, this hot sauce. Again, zero intention of starting a hot sauce brand, just really just making it for her. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm making you a hot sauce. And she's like, oh, man. So I made it, and she was like, this is so delicious. I love it. I was at work at Scopa, and I was with my friend, the bartender Mishka at the time. And I was telling her, I said, I made Lisa hot sauce last night. It was delicious. And he goes, you did what? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, I want some. And I just, off the top of my head, I said, yeah, $10, and he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay. I went home, and I emptied a bottle of hot sauce that I had, and just washed it through the dishwasher, and just filled it up with like the hot sauce that I made. And I brought it in, the light bulb went off, like maybe other people might want this kind of hot sauce. And it started the whole thing. I literally was going online on Facebook, say, hey, I'm just about to make a batch of hot sauce. Who wants in? And, I was slipping into friends' DMs and just be like, hey, man, I'm going to make a batch of hot sauce. You want a bottle? And that's how it started. I started making it in my house. I started making handwritten labels. If you look at like historical, if you look at some of the like really old arcade like posts, you could see handwritten labels. And poor Lisa, she was sitting there cranking out the labels, writing the ingredients in every single bottle. So, we were making like hundreds of bottles, like 50 to 100 bottles at the time, and I was just like, sending them, mailing them to friends. And then the thought like, hey, maybe some other people, like, what would it take to help move this along? What kind of money do we need to generate? Like, we just did some to legitimize this business. And, we decided to go the crowdfunding route, and we just, did the crowdfunding, and we raised a considerable amount of money to launch the brand, to get things. And, that's what happened. I just connected with the people that were just behind the brand. And then, we basically decided, instead of staying in LA, we had friends that lived here in Oregon. And I looked at like, can I source the peppers? And, it felt like LA would be a little bit repressive, a little bit like difficult to launch a brand unless you had these like, like big financial like giants behind you. And we didn't. We had a little crowdfunding. It was all bootstrapped. So, we decided we chose Oregon would be a great place so I can source the organic peppers throughout the year. And we looked at the commercial kitchen spaces and had to really do through the canned food courses and with the FDA, register everything. And now we've officially launched our business. Now it's been 2 years. We're in about 40 different locations. We keep growing our online presence. Really excited about like the reaction at the farmers markets. People love this. I love seeing people's expression when they taste that sauce. Like there's no better like test field than like just like letting people taste the sauce. I put it on popcorn, I put it on chips, and people are just like, wow, man, this is so good. And some of the hotter sauces, people just really want, people that are really into really hot sauces. I can't make it hot enough for these people, but, for me, the defining difference, there's a couple like factors that I feel that really put us apart from other people. I mean, the roasted peppers, very seldom. I really did a lot of research into this because, we were looking at expanding the brand and seeing if there's other facilities that would be able to use and partner with. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon the way you look at it, very seldom do you find people that produce hot sauces roast their peppers. They just don't. It's really time consuming, and I don't put any additives. Again, no preservatives, no binders, no sugar. Even the salt that I use, because the pink Himalayan salt, this industry is gonna glyphosate. It's got chemicals. Our food industry is broken, but even to show you the pink Himalayan salt, if you look and do some research on it, a friend of mine informed me, and Moni let me know, hey man, they're doing dynamite mining in the pink Himalayan salt market. You have to find a way to not because that dynamite that they're blowing up to get deeper into the mines to get to the salt is it's a byproduct of the food. So I ethically sourced this amazing pink Himalayan salt that these guys are just committed to finding ways around using dynamite to get you into your food. So I just go to that length. I go to the length of just the integrity of the ingredients, the Bragg's apple cider vinegar. And, I even use spring water as opposed to just filtered tap, or I just try to go to any length to create a product that you can entrust in, and it costs more. A lot of people always tell me, yeah, it's expensive. I'm like, well, can't blame me that this world's messed up, that if you want a really good product, and it's predominantly peppers, that's the thing. My hot sauce, a lot of hot sauces are really watered down or vinegar or fillers. Mine is thick by design because it's mainly roasted peppers. It's like a pepper puree. And I'm using all these different peppers in my mix. And that's where the flavor is coming from the roasted peppers, from the integrity. My mom showed me how to cook, the balance of simplicity brings greatness. She implanted that into me. And, it might be, if you look at the ingredients, it might be kind of straightforward, but at the same token, how I'm roasting these peppers and what kind of peppers and what I'm doing what makes Joey's what it is I feel like it's worlds apart from any other hot sauce. And that might not be your bag. If you might like the vinegar forward, some people love Tabasco, and I honor what they're doing, but it's just stylistically, this is what we're doing. We've been all about the roasted peppers and the integrity of the ingredients and the balance of the ingredients.
I don't honor Tabasco at all. Screw them. I don't care about what. I love what you just said. The balance of simplicity brings greatness. I love that. That's
a shirt.
You just won the internet today, Joey.
Yay!
You won. Hey, who's better at chess, you or Lisa?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah. She's not great at chess, but
all right.
That doesn't say much. I'm not a great. I got a couple moves. My old roommate was great. Pablo, he was an incredible chess player. And I don't think I ever beat Pablo. But I learned a lot from him by losing to him consecutively over and over and over.
Are there any new flavors on the horizon?
Actually, I'm so glad you mentioned that. I am. I actually have produced an all local batch. It was a Scotch bonnet. So Scotch bonnets are a pepper, nothing to do with actual Scotch. Scotch bonnet are a pepper. They're very similar to habaneros, and as far as the heat level is concerned, but the defining difference is the flavor. They bring in a whole different element of flavor in there. You might have had jerk chicken. It's very, it's very Caribbean. Those peppers are indigenous to those areas. So certain time of the year, I partner with Fry Family Farm. They're here in Oregon. It's where I actually produce the sauce currently, and they are an organic grower. So I partner with them, and they grew these Scotch bonnets for me, and I made a very limited batch. Now, this batch was initially just kind of exclusive. I know you guys talked about crypto a little earlier. It was exclusive to a crypto project that I was just dipping my toe in to see what would happen with
He's
it.
going to ask you this question, so you might as well ask the question, Tim, while he's going down this road. You might as well.
Yeah. You have an NFT. You have an NFT offering on your site, and
it's true. So
I'm involved in a company that is a data protection for the crypto and Web3 world. And I'm just kind of curious if you could tell everyone a little bit about your NFT and what the offering is and the end results that it will bring to the environment.
Yeah. So, I partnered with Gimbal Labs. They're a subsidiary of Cardano. Cardano is like, if you're familiar with the NFT space or just crypto space in itself, they're kind of one of the most, Charles, the founder, he's one of the most notorious, kind of more ethical approaches towards crypto. He has a pretty nice, like almost harmonious or like a gentleness or a care for the environment, a care for education for people that have less on the planet. And you look at his like mission statement. I was just drawn to that particular crypto, and I partnered with Gimbal Labs. We basically said, oh, what are we going to do as far as like creating a crypto that we're going to create this NFT? What are we going to raise money for? Because it's not only just about, you purchasing the NFT. We wanted to do towards regenerative agriculture. And Hobbs is a guy that I connected with on TikTok. And I was just kind of like inspired by the way that he talks about, and I've done some documentaries. Again, I am no expert in crypto. I am no expert in regenerative agriculture, but everything that I've seen on like, there's definitely concerns about like, fiat currency. There's definitely concerns about, there's definitely interest, concerns about the environment, and there's interest in regenerative. I feel like regenerative lays out a plan that, if it brings in rain cycles, the cow's in a better position. He's eating the grass, that he poops into the grass, that it enriches the soil. The soil, if you're moving these animals around your land, you can plant things in this soil. Whatever you plant in the soil can be rich, full of nutrients. So you're eating nutrient-rich food. If you're going to eat the cow's nutrient rich. The cow lives a more humane life. It pulls in the carbon. So there's like negative carbon imprint, and you're not forcing an agenda of like vegetarianism on people, A, and B, I don't feel that processed anything is good for anybody. And a lot of the vegetarian agenda right now seems to be pushing an agenda that is like, pushing on like processed food. And I think processed food is not good. I just turned 51. And I really want to stay in the best shape of my life. I'm committed to like my brand. And I'm committed to, I'm committed to like, just trying to live a better life and trying to eat things that are just more from the earth and give people like inspiring recipes. So like all boiled down to, I have this limited Scotch bonnet hot sauce that I actually opened up to people at the markets. It was originally thought out to be, I still have the NFTs available with it. I have an incredible artist that created the digital form of NFT where the bottle is just like the peppers are spinning around the bottle. And then I have that in a box set where the box set's floating in the universe. So you would get that actual NFT, and accompanied with this incredible music with a friend of mine, Deepak, which I also know through the meditation world. He's done music for like Disney and whatnot. He does scores for music. Really talented guy. So you get, music, you get like this art, you're contributing towards the environment, and you're also getting a limited production of Joey's hot sauce that was like an all local, like rare. There was only 1,500 bottles produced of each sauce.
Wow. Can I just say, Tim and I want to be part of your posse. We got Deepak, we got Monday, we got.
I need a name.
My life is so colorful, man.
We got Tim Bam, Eric. Like I just want to roll with the posse, man. This sounds like a lot of fun. Jeez.
You're in, Eric.
I'm in. Hey, if you could pick one social media platform to use for the next 5 years, what would it be?
Oh, Jesus, one social media platform. I don't know. That's so hard. I just try to be authentic in every platform. And I just, I'm about to experiment a little further into TikTok. So I don't know what's going to come of that.
Everybody else I asked this question just immediately just goes, well, this and this guy, like, well, let me talk to Monday and Teapot and we'll get back. Come on, man. He's gonna have Wes part of the crew. Wes, what do you think we should do? Hey, I love asking this question. Tim knows it's coming. What are you insecure about?
Oh, insecure. That's a great question. I don't even know. I got shame, like I said, the 90s were pretty chaotic for me. And I definitely did things that I wasn't really happy about. I hurt friends, family. So I think, maybe there's a part of that history that, there's always a genuine, like, loving spirit inside of me, but I really wasn't in balance in life. And so I think, embarrassed, maybe I'm embarrassed about that segment of my life, but I also think there's value to that. There's value to me having lived. I feel that gives me empathy and compassion on a level, and to other people, that there's value. I think I'm becoming more and more in alignment with, like, dropping that shame and understanding my value, and understanding, like, that I am valuable, and without going into any grandiosity. I hope I don't.
No, I love it. That's you know what? It's a great answer. I think it's a great answer for anybody that listens, because we're all insecure about some shit. And sometimes it's maybe the way we acted in the 90s with our boys and what we did. And, we aren't defined by it. We move past it. You learn from it. You grow from it. And so I love the answer. Great answer.
Thanks.
So the Huffington Post picked you as one of the top 5 hot sauces to have.
Keith, my boy Keith.
What has that done for your business, and how far are you from going into the Whole Foods type arena?
Well, Whole Foods is a different animal. That did an incredible job. I'm so happy that Keith mentioned me. He's an incredible chef. He does a lot of, like, Indian cuisine. I met him on Clubhouse as well, and I got to connect with him, and I sent him some sauce, and he's like, Joey, honestly, this is the best hot sauce I ever had, and I'm like, wow, that a world-renowned chef, like, saying that, author of books, and I seem to have that reaction with a lot of, like, chefs. They really thoroughly enjoy, there's more about depth of flavor with my hot sauce. It's not just about annihilating heat. A lot of hot sauces are just all about to give you that punch in the face with the heat. And with my hotter sauces, I try to give a balance of that, but it's still always predominantly more about the flavor. So, and Keith really embraced that, and I'm so grateful, and brought a lot of attention to the brand. I definitely saw a nice flux of orders when the Huffington Post put that out there. As far as, like, Whole Foods is concerned, Whole Foods, they're a beast. A lot of these, like, bigger brands do what they call free fill, and essentially, a little guy like me doing free fill would annihilate my company. It would, I would be incinerated going into that arena. So what a free fill is, just in case other people don't know that, it's like a bigger brand will say, hey, yeah, we like your product. We think it might perform well. Why don't you free up, give me free product, and we'll put it on the shelves. If it moves, great, we'll reorder. If it doesn't, sorry, and bigger brands tend to do that, we made it out in Erewhon in California. Erewhon is kind of like, it makes Whole Foods look like, how can I say, makes Erewhon look like Rite Aid, you know what I mean? Like, it's everything. You go in there, it's kind of like high end, high quality, really hard to get into that market. And I met them again on Clubhouse as well, and I got to introduce them. And I was like, hey, forget about that other brand that does truffle stuff. He goes, I got real truffles. I'm wild foraging our truffles, and I'm blending them right in there. I'm getting 10 grams of wild forage truffles in every 5-ounce bottle. You got to taste it. The guy was Italian, and I was like, you got to taste it. And he's like, okay, send it to me. So I sent it to him, and he's like, damn, that's good. And so, we got into Erewhon, which was awesome. That's Lisa, the truffle queen. Yeah.
It's awesome stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. That does definitely, like, blows people's minds away at the farmers market.
Batch number 50. Just
Oh, nice. Nice.
You need to use that
Ooh,
faster.
halfway there. What was that, Tim? Eric?
He needs to use that faster if he's still.
I know.
Oh,
Forget about
it's still good until 11:22. So I'm in
Yes.
good shape. So.
You are in good shape. Yeah. That's the beauty.
I've got one question left on my list. I know you're a live music band guy. Greatest front man you ever saw in a band?
Oof.
Greatest front. I'd have to say, I mean, I saw Soundgarden, I saw Nirvana, but I'd have to give a big shout out, back in their heyday, there was a band that was like, they were friends of mine. I used to be in bands with other bands.
Also in the posse. Continue.
Yeah, part of my posse. And these guys were a band called Drag Pipe, and Jay Diablo, when I saw them perform, and his energy and like his conviction, I was really blown away. I thought it was the most I was like really taken back by that performance. Also, a big shout out to ex-singer in a band that I used to be in, and she passed away. Nicole, she was like, she died unfortunately of, substance abuse, but she was an incredible. There was this one show when we were playing at CBGB's, and Joan Osborne happened to be there at the time. And, so like she was like a friend of mine was I don't have this videotape, I'm sorry, but a friend of mine was videotaping and, watching like Nicole perform, and we were just doing our thing. It was just like, so intense. Our music was like super intense. And Nicole would just like, she would just like tear up this. She used to be like a Disney dancer. So she like knew how to move her body, and she was just like singing and like screaming into the mic. And like
sounds like Wes.
And then the camera like panned to like Joan Osborne, and Joan's like mouth was just like her jaw was just dropped, like, oh my God, what the hell is going on here?
You know who else has moves like that? Britney Spears. Little known fact, Wes Wyatt is the president of the Ohio Britney Spears fan club.
Oh, wow.
True. Yeah.
Very true.
Got to get Britney a bottle of Joey.
You probably want to be in our posse now is probably the deal. So
it's true. It's true. I do.
Big stuff around here. Big stuff.
So I saw the I only have one more. One more question. How did you feel about standing in the middle of that field? With all those cows in that documentary. I mean, I got to be honest with you. You looked so out of place. I'm like, wait a minute. The guy with the tats and the big glasses from New York with the accents in the
I mean, I love Hobbs. Hobbs is such an awesome dude. I could sit around and listen to him talk about everything like all the time. I don't know if you've ever seen his TikToks. He just like, he's out in the field every day, just like talking and like being in nature, talking about regenerative agriculture. Like I don't even understand how to have that much conversation. His intellect and his brain is just like on another level.
He does have the best title that he should put on his business card: regenerative grazer.
Yeah. So it was awkward. Both Lisa and I were just like, oh, look at the cow shit. Like, this is wild.
This is real. Hey, we got a question on here from Barry Butler. Barry said, can I get your sauce in the Great White North? He's in Canada. Can they order off your website and get it shipped?
I'm still working on that, Gary. Barry. I'm still working on that, Barry. Not yet. Unfortunately, if you know any people that want to buy a pallet of it, I would definitely do some marketing up there to kind of get the some orders. But for me to ship it directly from here is a fortune, and nobody wants to pay $25 for a bottle of hot sauce.
It's worth it.
Barry is not in the posse. Just saying. You're out. You're out.
How far are you from Klamath Falls, Oregon?
I'm in the most southern part of Oregon. I'm near Sacramento. So it's actually, like, people always think, it's cold and rainy. I'm like, oh no, that's really more northern part. Actually, we get mild winters over here. I'm happy as a clam, and we even get winters, which, right outside my house currently, you can still see snow up on the mountaintops. And that's like really beautiful. And I jog right into the mountains too. Like that's another thing. If you would have told me like 20 years ago, oh, you're going to be jogging into the mountains in Oregon, I would have been like, oh, you stupid. But that's my life right now. I love it. I love getting up and, jumping rope or, jogging into the mountains, like vertical. And I don't like when I first started doing it, I didn't have my footing on the way down. I almost like lost it, and I bring like some pepper spray just in case there's like bears up there. I'm risking my life daily for my health.
Your body should thank you.
So,
Joey, this has been awesome. I'm sorry, Tim, you got another question?
No, I was going to say, tell everyone how to get a hold of you. And if you got any specials coming up, I mean,
yeah, I'm going to be making on the horizon. I'm going to be also making this Italian kind of like, I'm going to call it like, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but we're going to put the Italian flag behind it. I'm sourcing these Calabrian chilies, and I got these fatales that I'm also putting in there. So it's going to be like what we call these are called Joey Selects. So I'm going to be making Joey Selects, and they're only pretty much available to people who like get on our website and like essentially sign up to the email list. It's kind of an exclusive thing. If you're interested in that, please slip into my DMs and ask me if you're interested in some of the Cardano stuff. I still have that. You can't find that online, but joeyshotsauce.com. I'm on Instagram at Joey's Hot Sauce. I'm at TikTok at Joey's Hot Sauce. Facebook, obviously, you can see me here. I got two accounts, the actual Joey's Hot Sauce one, and my personal one is Joey Repice.
Repice.
You have a great,
everybody follow, you have a great Instagram. You and Lisa both have because I scrolled through them and just some of you have like an eye for like that's really
that's
cool.
all Lisa. I'll tell you right now that
I figured
she's incredible. Like she has an eye and a meticulousness, and she really helps me like hold the standard of what we're trying to put out there to people.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you definitely married up, bro.
I know. I got lucky. I waited. I've been in a lot of really mind-bending like relationships. Like, I'm lucky.
Just
I'm
say
lucky.
yes. Just stop.
Well, you have one of the best taglines, in my opinion, in any hot sauce. Get on the sauce, which is
thanks. Yeah, my mentor gave me that one. He was awesome. He was like, he's got all these great things on the bottle. If you look, I'm not sure if it's even on your bottles, but we keep updating little things, and it says "Shake me, I like it." That's another thing. And then, how hot is it, Joey? Is where the pepper meters are.
Yeah.
And a funny story with that. I'm like, I have that at the farmer's market. How hot is it, Joey? And then like a woman picked up the bottle and she looked at it and she was like, well, that's a little vain, don't you think? I'm like, I'm sorry. She goes, doesn't it say how hot is Joey? I'm like, no.
That's hilarious.
How hot is Joey? Yeah, baby, like my hot sauce.
All right, we need to wrap this up. He's shaking shoulders and stuff, and he could be drinking. There's no telling. So, hey, this has been awesome. You are a super cool dude. I'm gonna get online and buy some hot sauce after we're done for sure, because this has just been cool, and I think you're a pretty cool guy. Next week we've got Caroline Mathias, who will probably drop the F-bomb 27, 28 times in the first
easily
10 minutes she's on. And Joey, you are awesome. You are super cool. Shout out to Wes Wyatt, producer extraordinaire, president of the Britney Spears Fan Club of Ohio. And as always, Tim, you're the man. Joey, I don't know if you know how we end this, but
frozen hand.